aspects of a translation. I hope you can see in the slides properly. It starts from one point and end at one point. So this is an animation based study. So I cannot stop in between, but it tells us clearly what we will going to study once we finish all these exercises. So that means we will understand what is the structure of a ribosome and functions. Anyhow, we know about it. Then about charged tRNA. Then about initiation, elongation, and termination. That means the steps. Then finally translational factors. Around 9 to 10 factors. All those factors that will vary from prokaryotes to eukaryotes. So today we will study a bit about prokaryotes. We'll understand prokaryotes. I hope in the picture you can see it starts from green, somewhere in the light green region. Then it continues like this. That means synthesis, and it stops when it reaches red point. That means green from where this is a light portion is what we call the initiation point, and the red is the end point, end signal. So any process in biological system will have a starting point, will have an end point. It has to stop. Okay. Yeah. Next is when we talk about what we call translation. I just want to give this introduction. So there will be DNA. DNA is found in the chromosome, right? As we all know. Then it will be transcribed. Once it is transcribed, next process is translation. So protein. This is what the idea of molecular biology. This is the one thing we should understand. Not the how the translation is happening. That is secondary. But this is important. How where how the informations are coded, how information are decoded, how the proteins are formed. So here, from mRNA to protein, that process what we call translation. Or translation is the process of synthesizing protein. So for that, we need mRNA, we need ribosomes, we need charged tRNA, we need uncharged tRNA, then 2, 4, 6, 8 factors, mainly 8 factors in prokaryotes. 8 plus 1, sorry, that's why I told 9 factors. 8 plus 1, 9 factors. 9, that is a RR, recycling factor is not really involved in process, but it is recycling of ribosomes. At the end, it involves. So 9 factors: IF1, IF2, IF3, G, TU, EFTS, RF1, RF3, RRF. These are all the factors. These factors name you should remember. But important factors are IF1, IF2, IF3. So, and remaining factors involved in elongation and termination. So, initiation is very important. Initiation is unique in prokaryotes, unique in eukaryotes. So, that part we should be very clear. So, 9 factors: IF1, IF2, IF3, G, TU, EFTS, RF1, RF3, RRF. So, these are the things you should remember. Factor names. RF1 and RF3, that is will come in what you call termination. So what the ribosome does, ribosome read this continuously till it reaching at the end. So this ribosome consists of a large subunit and a small subunit. So that is important thing. When we have an idea of ribosome, there will be larger subunit, there will be a smaller subunit. So this is the supramolecular machinery. That means there will be protein and RNA in it. Ribosome means there will be protein and there will be RNA in it. If you look at the chart, you can see prokaryotes it is 70S, eukaryotes it is 80S. 70S means there will be 30S, 50S. 80S means there will be 40S, 60S. 30S, 50S, that is in prokaryotes. So whole it is 70S. S means a unit of sedimentation velocity. A sedimentation in an ultracentrifuge depends on both the mass and shape of a molecule, and it is not simply a measure of molecular mass. It is not a weight of that, but exactly it's the mass and shape of a molecule in an ultracentrifuge. So it is called Swidberg constant. So if you study detailed aspects of ultracentrifugation, then you will understand what is Swidberg. Swidberg, you just imagine it is a unit to measure something like a mass plus shape. Both we are giving not only giving importance to weight of the molecule, as well as the shape of a molecule too in Swedberg. So based on that, we could, they could derive two kinds of ribosomes: 70S in prokaryotes and 80S in eukaryotes. Ribosome subunit assembles and disassembles during each round of protein synthesis in the ribosome cycles. Ribosome subunit assembles and disassembles during each round of protein synthesis in the ribosome cycle. So it will arranges itself in the form of whole ribosome, then it continues the process, then it is disassembled at the end. So when the process is over, it disassembles. So ribosome reads mRNA in a triplet codon format. That means three codons it reads. And it consists of three sites you can see: A, P, and E. Amino acid site, peptidyl site, and exit site. So these are the three important sites in ribosomes: A site, P site, and E sites. And tRNA is also needed, I told. It transfers amino acids. Work is only carry. So it's called adapter molecule. It will have an anticodon. So anticodon tRNA binds codon on the mRNA. So that is codon anticodon interaction will happen in translation. So mRNA threaded through a small subunit tunnel. That means you might be thinking how this mRNA entering into ribosome. So in the ribosome there will be a small tunnel. Through the tunnel this mRNA will enter. So there will be a tunnel. You might have seen in highways how they bore a tunnel to reduce the the distance or to avoid the high ranges. So what they'll do is they will make a tunnel. Same thing, there will be molecular tunnel. Through the tunnel, this mRNA will enter inside the ribosome. So A is amino acid site, already told. Then P is peptidyl tRNA site or peptidyl site. Then is exit site. Through this site, uncharged DNA will be pushed out once the synthesis is over. So tunnel in large subunit allow growing polypeptide to exit. That means one tunnel we need for the mRNA, another tunnel we need for polypeptide to go out of the ribosome, right? So that there another tunnel. That means there will be two tunnels, one for mRNA, one for polypeptides. So that's the translation, first step process, that is called initiation. So ribosome, during this process, ribosomes are brought to mRNA. Ribosomes are properly aligned over start codon. P site of a ribosome containing charged tRNA. So that means mRNA and ribosome form a complex. Ribosomes are aligned properly on the start codon, that is AUG. Then P site of ribosome containing first formyl methionine tRNA. That is called translation initiation. Initiation process will differ from prokaryote to eukaryote, and initiation is aided by translational initiation factors. That thing we should remember. There will be a translation initiation factors. So now we'll see what is initiation in prokaryotes. So there are three factors: IF1, IF2, IF3. So it will bind to 30S subunit, not to 70S, 30S. Initial work will be done by 30S. How? So this IF3, what it does is it dissociates larger and smaller subunits. Then IF1 will not allow tRNA, first tRNA to enter A site. And IF2 along with IF2 will bind IF1 and guide first tRNA, that is formyl methionine tRNA, to P site. Yesterday only, last class only I explained, IF2 work is to escort the first formyl methionine tRNA to P site. P site is the first charged tRNA will be in the P site. Let us have a look on how exactly it happens. You can see in this animation how IF3 separates two subunits. See, now you can see. Once IF3 is bound, 30 and 50 are separate. Next, IF2 GTP, IF1 will come. It will come and sit like that. And A and between P. So GTP is the energy molecule which are needed for the process of translation. Next, what happens? mRNA will be assembled. Then the first charged tRNA will come and sit on the start codon. Properly it sits. Once it sits properly, arrangement is done, and then the elongation will start. But before that, I want to tell there is one more thing called Shine-D-Algarno sequences. So even though there is a tunnel, how mRNA is folded to ribosome, it is with the help of that sequence. It's called Shine-D-Algarno sequences with 16 srRNA. 16 srRNA is important rRNA found in prokaryotic ribosome. Those rRNAs are targeted to identify bacteria and all in general case. So Shine-D-Algarno sequences are important. That is the one which is holding mRNA properly on the ribosome. mRNA start codon and formal methane and tRNA anticodons are aligned properly to start the translation. So initial what we call the complex is called 30S. 30S will have ribosome, that means smaller subunit of ribosome, then mRNA, then 3 factors and formal methane and tRNA together. But with this we cannot start elongation. Elongation need 50S also. That means both the subunits should be together. So what happens? When the things are aligned properly, it undergoes a conformational changes. Base bearing of mRNA start codon and formal methyl tRNA initiate a reaction cascade to form 70S initiation complex. That means now the 50S want to join 30S. So what it does is IF3 will dissociate, larger subunit will bind, and then GTP hydrolysis will happen. So things will be released. So there is a factor binding center. So there the GTP is activated. So GTP. That means if things went well, starting codons are placed properly means all these things will happen. So IF3 will dissociate, larger subunit will come and bind, which create a kind of conformational change. So GTP hydrolysis will happen. So IF2, IF3, IF1, all these things will get released. You can see here. So once things are get released, now only formal methionine tRNA, A site, E site, and whole ribosome. So it is called as 70S initiation complex. This is called as 70S initiation complex. So if you look at ribosome on this thing, you can see the difference. In case of prokaryote, it is IF1, IF2, IF3. But in case of eukaryotes, EIF1A, EIF2, EIF5B, EIF3, extra factors you can see EIF1, EIF4A, EIF4E, EIF4G, EIF4B. The function is prepare mRNA template for ribosome binding. That is the extra function in eukaryotes. So this is the difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic translation. So instead of IF1, you have to write EIF1A. Instead of IF2, 2 factors will come, EIF2 and EIF5B. Instead of IF3, only EIF3. So prevent ribosomal subunit association. So all the functions are clearly written there. So functions are same, but to prepare, I told in case of eukaryotes, starting codon somewhere else, not in the same point like prokaryotes. So it has to scan. So initial extra factors are 5 extra factors are, that is 4E, 4G, 4B, 4A, EIF1. All these factors are needed. So that is an extra requirement in case of eukaryotes. So we'll have a look in eukaryotes. Now you can see how the things are happening in eukaryotes. So here, initiation factor 1A, EIF3, EIF5B, EIF2, see all these factors will come and sit as the order written here. It will come and sit. Once it is sat, it forms a what you call, it has to form the complex. Same thing like prokaryotes, it forms 43S in pre-initiation complex. So pre-initiation is needed. So all these factors are needed, 1A, EIF3, EIF5B, and GTP molecule, any energy molecules are needed because it has to scan. Now we will see how the scanning is done. Now this will hold the mRNA. You can see here, in ribosome, I mean in our DNA, RNA, there will be hairpins also. So those hairpins and all should be removed. So that's why this EIF4F complex, that is called extra proprietary molecules are needed. Those molecules play important role to scan because starting codon is somewhere else. So this hairpin has to be resolved. Then it has passed through here. Then it has to reach AUG. So that much steps are there. So that factor B will resolve it. The factors B, E, G, A, and B. These are the extra factors. Now hairpin is resolved. So now it's a straight molecule. Now this whole 43S will come and assemble. Then it will scan. Now you can see the scanning. It will scan for starting codon. Once the starting codon is arranged properly, then it will go for elongations. This is the extra step in case of eukaryotes. So factors are E, G, A, B, and B union, and remaining factors, similar factor to prokaryotes, we need to start the process. So once it is aligned properly, it undergo a GT phase. So things will get released. All those things will get released. Now 60S subunit will come and sit like 50S. So it forms a whole complex because it has to go for elongation. So now things are arranged properly. It has to go for elongation. So it forms 80S complex. It forms. Now see, all those things are released. Now it is free. All these things are released. Now it is 80S initiation complex. So next is elongation. Both prokaryotes and eukaryotes will see together elongation. So elongation requires only 3 factors required. I mean 2 factors are needed and 1 is for recycling. So the molecule factor called EFTU. So place of charged tRNA in the A site. So EFTU work is place it on the A site. So factor G's work is push this one to P site. So last one is there is a TS factor that for recycling. I hope you can see the first is placing, then peptide bond formation between the placed amino acid and existing amino acid, then finally translocation. So translocation work is done by the G. G will just push it because uncharged should leave the E site. So you can see, if you want, I can repeat it. You see this. So there will be a free A site. There is a 1 amino acid in the P site. Now during elongation, EFTU will bring the charged tRNA to A site. So undergo GTP hydrolysis. Now the peptide bond will be formed. You can see here. Next is translocation, moving, pushing. Who will push? EFG will push. So these are the 3 steps in elongation. But now the thing is, both are in GDP form, not GTP. So it has to be recycled, right? It should be GTP, energy rich. Then only it can go for second cycle. So that work will be done by TS. So elongation factor EFTU, EFG, and EFTS. So TS will do this recycling work. That means it replaces GDP with GTP. So you can see here. So EFTS is a very simple factor which changes. So tRNA accommodation, a process that ensures correct pairing between the tRNA and the mRNA. So that is very important. tRNA, mRNA proper pairing should happen. And during this process, what you call improper pairing. See, you can see here, incorrect base pairing won't happen. Proper base pairing is needed. That means you can see here, first 2 bases should align. Third one is not important. Google hypothesis says third one is not important, but the first 2 base pairings are very important. Then only all the process will continue. So amino acid tRNA is escorted to the A site by elongation factor T. You already explained it because they have given it again. So it will come here, elongation. It forms bond. Next step is it forms bond. You can see here how it forms bond. Once it forms bond, the peptidyl transferase reaction, that means the bond formation. Next step is the translocation. 3 important steps are placing, bond formation, and translocation. During translocation, ribosomes move 1 codon down mRNA. So what happens? What is there in the P site will go to E site. What is there in the A site will go to P site. That is what you call. You can see EFG. EFG is like a pushing molecule. It pushes. You can see GTP hydrolysis leads to pushing. Why pushing is needed? Next, it has to bring new amino acid to that site. So translocation require EFG factors. Now EFPU is in GDP format, G is also GDP format. So it has to recycle. So recycling work will be done by EFTS. Already I told EFTS factor will recycle. So recycling work will be done by EFTS. You can see here how it recycles. So recycling is very important work. Once it is recycled only, it can go for next cycle of elongation. GTP hydrolysis, you can see the changes. So conformational changes. Active form, inactive. Next is elongation. So next is termination. Sorry, next is termination. So this will continue like this. The process will continue, elongation process. So they are showing it again how the things are happening. Next, termination. So termination happens when it reaches UAG, UGA, or UAA. That means stop codons. Once it reaches the stop signal, the process stops. So there are releasing factors, which are RF1, RF3, I told you, releasing factors. Then termination is similar in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Elongation is similar, okay? Prokaryotes and eukaryotes, elongations are similar. There is no difference in elongation. But termination, there is a difference. If it is UAG codon, then RF1 will recognize in prokaryotes. RF2 will recognize UGA. RF1 and 2 will recognize UAA. UAA is recognized by both the factors, RF1 and RF2. RF3 will be involved in that is recycling. So then, but in case of eukaryotes, all the stop codons are recognized by ERF1. ERF1, one single factor is there, that is sufficient to recognize all the factors. But in case of prokaryotes, there are RF1 and RF2. RF1 will recognize UAG. RF2 will recognize UGA. RF1 and 2 will recognize stop codons. So this is what the termination means. How the termination will happen, we'll see. So what happens, the process, class 1 release factor bind to A subunit. So this is the thing. The proteins are synthesized. Now we reach stop codon. So the RF1 will come and bind, recognize that. So that is the important thing. Because there is no tRNA for a stop codon, right? So RF1 will come and bind. So it recognizes. Then class 2nd release factor recycles class 1. So RF1 will be recycled by RF3. So that is the important thing. So recycling factor will recognize the stop codon and stop the process. This is like a Caesar. It cut and throws this polypeptide from the ribosomes and recycle everything for the second cycle of translation. You can see there is one sequence called GGQ. So that sequence is important, GGQ sequence. That chops, that acts as a Caesar. Cut the polypeptide and release it. So class 1 involves in cutting and releasing. Class 2 involves in recycling all the what you call factors, ribosomes, mRNA, charged tRNA, and sorry, uncharged tRNA, all those things for the second cycle of translation. Release factors are recycled to participate in another round of translation termination. So you can see here RF1, RF3, GTP. So GTP, GDP exchange. GTP is the active nature, GDP is the inactive nature. So conformational change will happen. You can write it in 1 or 2 sentences. So polypeptides are released, class 2 releasing factors will release and recycle the entire missionaries of translations. You can see GTP to GDP changes. So there is a factor binding center. If you want detail, you can study like that. Otherwise, simply you can write it in 1 or 2 sentences. In detail also, you can write it. You can understand the process. So ribosome recycling is critical because all those things should be chopped up, separated, and it has to go for a second cycle of a translation. That's a very, very important thing in case of translation. So ribosome cannot simply leave it here and it go for second cycle. So it has to be recycled. Energy efficient process, right? So cell would be littered with spent and useless ribosomes. Protein synthesis would come to an halt. So this is the problem cell faces. So what cell does is cell uses all this mechanism, that is RRF, ribosome recycling factor. then EFG, sorry, G factor, then IF3. All these factors will help at the end to recycle. You can write it in one sentence also. How you know, like RRF, G and IF3 will recycle ribosomes. Otherwise, ribosome will build up in the cell, create a problem, or it may reduce the speed of the reaction, or may be difficult for a cell to meet the protein requirement. So ribosome recycling is mediated by RRF, EFG, and IF3. So EFG is to push this uncharged tRNA out of these ribosomes. It has to push it. No? Its work is pushing. That's all. You can see how it's pushing. Once it is pushed, now only mRNA, ribosome, and these two factors. Now IF3 will come. So larger and smaller subunit will get separated. Now everything is disassembled. Now it can go for a second round of translation. This is what the translation means. A very simple process. But you should remember 9 factors. IF1, IF2, IF3, then EFG, EFTU, EFTS, then RF1, RF2, RF3, RRF. These many factors you should remember. Elongation is very simple. Elongation where all the process in a similar pattern will happen. But in case of initiation, there is a difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Eukaryotes, number of factors are more. They don't ask how the eukaryotic translation will happen. Instead of they'll ask differentiate between prokaryotic and eukaryotic translation, or else highlights the points of eukaryotic translation, or how eukaryotic translation is different from prokaryotic translation. Then you have to study only what is the difference, not the similar factor. Anyhow, it is same in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. There is no much difference. So here ends translation part.